got about an hour's rehearsal, and he was up here, and I was supposed to throw him over my shoulder, which was pretty tricky. And I just felt that I was going one way and he was throwing himself, and it didn't really look as though I had actually touched him. And I did, at the end of that, say, please, can we just do that again? And they said, absolutely not, no. And the other one was when I laughed.
That's right.
When I laughed, when I didn't even know that, I was so embarrassed. When we were doing the commentary for, what was the story?
The Seeds of Death.
Seeds of Death. When we were struggling through some sliding doors into this bed of foam, and Patrick slipped, and I just burst out laughing. And it was obviously a scene that couldn't be done again. And I didn't remember doing that. And when we were doing the commentary, the director was there, and I watched it, and I hadn't seen him since 1967 or 8. And I said to him, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't remember laughing. I'm so sorry. It was awful.
It's good to apologize to your director 35 years after the fact. I'm curious because I talked to Wendy about this, but you guys did an awful lot of acting against fire extinguisher foam. It must have brought an element of chaos into the studio.
It stung as well. With the kilts on, it really stung the legs. There was something in that foam, you know.
Really?
So I didn't like working with that at all.
Really? You must have very sensitive legs.
Listen, when we did the war games, I had to ride a horse in the war games, in the kilt, and gallop along. And I'd say, never ride a horse wearing a kilt, because I have no hairs on the inside of my legs, they're worn away. And on the way home in the BBC coach, the head makeup girl, I was lying on the back seat, and she was massaging all this oil into my legs. You know,
Yeah. Is that your story and you're sticking to it? Yeah.
Blame it on the horse.
Do you know, I can't remember anything that I really wanted to retake, at all. I wasn't that pretty little girl. I mean, I can't remember a thing. What did we get up to? It was just, we didn't.
We were perfect.
We were actually wonderful.
Never made a mistake, did we? Never made a mistake. Simple as that.
No.
Not like Padders, we never made a mistake.
Oh, and look, we have another question. Hi there.
All right. According to a website that I found, Zoe is considered the worst companion, while...
What website is this? We want to have words.
Buzzfeed. While another website labels Jamie as the best.
No.
The website for labeling Jamie the best companion was...
You go blind looking at websites, I tell you.
It's called What Culture for labeling Jamie as the best.
Okay.
While the one that says that, yeah, it is Buzzfeed, which says that Zoe is the worst.
Everyone go to Buzzfeed
The
now.
list is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a question coming?
Do you know, frankly...
I just wanted to say that, but
Excuse
the actual question that I was going to ask here is, what do you think about the great intelligence coming back?
What the heck? I have no idea.
Okay, so the great intelligence from the Web of Fear, and he came back as a villain in Matt Smith's final season.
But it didn't seem to be the same intelligence as we had.
It was a sort of a prequel actually to the Web of Fear and the Unfollowing Snowman. It was.
Oh, I hate it when they do.
It was his origin story.
40 years ago. I can't keep up.
I think
May I say something?
Yeah.
I think that was a very inappropriate question, quite honestly.
Right.
The Wrath of Watling.
Hi there.
Hello. My question is basically, there's a very theatrical sensibility about the older Who, especially your season and Hartnell's season. And it strikes me that a lot of the people who are kind of disconnected in the younger generation, who mainly watch the new stuff, they haven't been brought up on theater. They haven't watched it and been kind of brought into it and enjoy it. Do you think, one thing I've seen is a lot of the younger people who are here, who are enjoying you, are actually getting drawn into that. Do you think it's kind of a neat that that there's a whole new generation that's kind of getting pulled into that kind of sensibility and that theatricality and the classic series, because I think there is a lot of that, you know, in your eras. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think that, I mean, it's the genius of Doctor Who that generation after generation, although I mean, all you have got a favourite Doctor that was presumably the Doctor when you were growing up, but all you then went back and still watch today. So I think it's really cool that young people. I mean, it's contrary to popular belief. The black and white episodes are still extremely watchable. I think the BBC have a thing. And mainly because they're good stories. You know, they are good stories, and they stand up today. And the BBC, I heard once that the BBC were going to play Doctor Who from the very beginning. And actually the very beginning happened to be from, I think it was John Pertwee, when it went into colour. Because they didn't think that anybody would watch anything black and white, which is just ludicrous.
How wrong they were.
Yeah, exactly.
How does it feel to like be at these conventions and see, you know, 20-year-olds and 10-year-olds all, you know, dressed as Zoe and Victoria and Jamie? It must be wonderful to be kind of a part of that.
It's amazing. There was a little girl yesterday, this big, in a Zoe costume, actually quoting Zoe lines. I mean, I've got a fabulous picture of her on my phone. It's amazing.
Just to answer that lady's question there, going back 40 years, most of us, or all of us, were theatre trained. So we were able to do the interior of the TARDIS on one take, then we go out into this space station, and then we go back into the TARDIS, and we go back. We did about 3 or maybe 4 scenes. If it was possible, they would have done the whole episode in one, but they couldn't because of the cameras would be tripping over each other. Although they're brilliant actors of today, they probably wouldn't be able to do it because they haven't been theatre trained. They're used to doing 5 lines at a time and cut. 5 lines, now close-up of you doing your 4 lines. It was difficult, but for us it was easy because we'd been theatre trained. Used to doing 12, 15, 20 pages in one go.
Exactly.
It was actually lovely yesterday when a lovely girl came up to me in Victoria's costume, which she'd made herself. And I think it took her a very long time. And she'd even got the Victoria hair that I used to have. And I was so flattered. I can't tell you, I was so pleased. And I gave her the biggest hug ever. And it's lovely to see. Oh, brilliant.
Well, I hugged Salamander yesterday, didn't I? I hugged Salamander.
Yeah. Hi there.
You did what? I'm Salamander.
Salamander.
I know.
Hello, ma'am.